I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything, it'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
Weird. So weird. It really is like the whole country's hypnotized. And I just think this is a perfect storm of things that are happening all at the same time.
All right, buckle up, folks, because we're diving into some serious drama coming out of Dolton, Illinois, where Mayor Tiffany Henyard has found herself smack in the middle of a political storm that just keeps getting messier by the day. If you thought local politics couldn't be as dramatic as a reality TV show, think again. This one's packed with more twists, turns, and eyebrow-raising moments than anyone could have imagined. And guess what? Joe Rogan himself has even chimed in, turning what was a small-town scandal into a national conversation. But let's start from the top and break down what's really going on here.
Also new tonight, Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is suing some village trustees over Monday's meeting.
So Tiffany Henyard, for those who don't know, became the first female mayor of Dolton back in 2021. A trailblazer, right? But instead of steering the town into smooth waters, she's found herself facing accusations that would make anyone question her leadership. This isn't just about the typical political mudslinging. Henyard's under fire for some pretty serious allegations, and we're talking intimidation tactics, threatening residents, and hiring one of the most controversial attorneys in the country to back her up. You'd think we were talking about a Hollywood villain, not a small-town mayor. The controversy really started heating up when reports began to surface that Henyard wasn't exactly playing nice with some of Dolton's residents. Now, it's one thing to disagree with your critics, but it's a whole other level when a mayor allegedly threatens them. Yup, you heard that right. People are claiming that Henyard straight up warned residents who spoke out against her that there would be consequences. Let's just pause here for a second. This is a public official, someone who's supposed to be representing the community. And instead of engaging with her constituents, she's allegedly scaring them into silence. Talk about a power trip, right?
2 agendas, 2 meetings in different locations. It was a little confusing for some residents, but the meeting here at Village Hall canceled after a few minutes because they didn't have a quorum.
Now, these threats didn't just stop at words. Apparently, residents have been feeling the pressure in other ways too. Some say they've been getting extra attention from local authorities, and not in a good way. I think about it, one minute you're expressing your concerns about how things are being run, and the next you're facing all kinds of scrutiny. Coincidence? Hard to say, but it's raising a lot of red flags. And of course, that's where the outrage is coming from. People are demanding answers, and they want to know if their mayor is crossing a line that no public servant should ever cross.
I'm a private investigator. I've got this envelope that says Super Mayor. Inside I have from the United States District Court, Rogan District of Illinois.
So with all this tension bubbling under the surface, who steps in to shine a spotlight on the situation? None other than Joe Rogan. Yes, Joe Rogan, whose podcast has millions of listeners. When he picks up a topic, you better believe it gets attention. And in this case, Rogan didn't hold back. He slammed Henyard for what he described as a complete abuse of power, calling her out for allegedly threatening her own residents. It's not every day that a local mayor ends up on the radar of a national media personality, but when someone like Rogan speaks, people listen. And this really took the whole Henyard saga to a new level.
What's best for the people be what's running the thing. We're letting the thing be run by the people that are in power, that are corrupt, that want to keep the power.
Rogan's criticism wasn't just about Henyard as a politician, it was about the bigger picture too. He warned of the dangers of power being misused, especially by elected officials who should be held to the highest standards of accountability. It's a strong message and one that clearly resonated with his audience. Henyard, who might have been hoping this was just a local spat that would eventually blow over, now had to deal with the fact that her actions were under national scrutiny. And with Rogan's massive platform amplifying the concerns of Dolton's residents, this was quickly becoming a full-blown scandal. But let's talk about these allegations a little more, because it's not just about Joe Rogan putting her on blast. Residents in Dolton are genuinely scared, and they've been vocal about it. Some of them claim that Henyard's threats weren't just idle talk. They say they faced real consequences for speaking out.
Of court, the judge today declining to hold her in contempt, but did warn her that if she did not follow the ruling, he would.
Increased attention from local authorities, subtle intimidation, and the constant fear of retaliation have become the norm for anyone who dares to question Henyard's leadership. It's a chilling scenario, and one that's left many people in Dolton feeling like they've got a target on their back. One resident reportedly said, "This woman, she needs to be thrown in jail now." The frustration in the community is palpable. People are angry and they're tired of feeling like their voices don't matter. And honestly, who can blame them? If the allegations are true, this isn't just an issue of bad leadership, this is straight up corruption.
Very appreciative to receive the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993.
Which brings us to Henyard's decision to bring in Bo Brindley as her attorney. Now, if you're not familiar with this guy, let us paint you a picture. Brindley is not just any lawyer, he's a name that's been attached to some of the most controversial and downright scandalous legal cases in recent history. Remember the R. Kelly saga? Brindley was right there representing the disgraced singer's former manager. And that's just scratching the surface of his involvement in some seriously shady cases. We're talking about a lawyer who's been accused of coaching witnesses, bending the rules, and defending some of the most notorious figures in the country. So when Henyard decided to hire him of all people, you can imagine the reaction from the public.
That's clickbait, huh? All right. I guess anything else? I get sued all the time. Y'all, stop it.
People are asking, why on earth would you bring in someone like Brindley? We mean, it's not like there aren't plenty of other lawyers out there. But no, Henyard went straight for the guy with a reputation that raises more questions than it answers. And this decision has only fueled speculation that Henyard might have a lot more to hide than she's letting on. After all, when you're facing accusations of abusing your power, do you really want to hire a lawyer known for bending the rules? It just doesn't add up.
This administration is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
The reaction from Dolton's residents has been overwhelmingly negative. Folks are scratching their heads, trying to figure out what's going on in their town. Some are even questioning Henyard's sanity at this point, saying she used taxpayer money to travel and go to Vegas and party. Also bought a brand new Tahoe for $150,000 on the taxpayer dime. And anyone that opposes her will face the wrath of eviction and having their business shut down. These aren't just casual complaints, these are serious accusations that paint a picture of a leader who's gone completely off the rails. And with every new revelation, it seems like Henyard is digging herself into a deeper and deeper hole.
Called our security firm, we made sure they had wands, and we also told our board to come upstairs due to the fact they had several ways to exit out of the building.
What's really wild is that Henyard's previous legal team just up and quit. That's right, they resigned. Reportedly because they were feeling the financial strain. Can you imagine being so deep in controversy that even your lawyers are like, yeah, we're out of here? That's exactly what's happened. And now, with Brindley stepping in, the stakes have never been higher. People are watching closely to see how this plays out. But let's be honest, things aren't looking great for Henyard.
For months, there is a new legal battle brewing in Dolton between the mayor and some village trustees.
As Regina Waldrop explains, it has a lot to do with 2 meetings held earlier this week.
But let's get back to Brindley for a minute, because his involvement is a major part of this whole saga. This is a guy who's been at the center of some seriously messy legal battles, and his tactics have been called into question more than once. There have been claims that he coached witnesses, tried to manipulate the legal system, and even pocketed money from clients without delivering the services he promised. If this sounds like the kind of lawyer who thrives in scandal, that's because he is. And now he's representing Henyard, which raises a lot of eyebrows about what her next move might be.
I want to thank my 2 trustees, Trustee Andrew Holmes and Trustee Stan Brown, for showing up.
What's even more interesting is the timing of all this. Henyard is already under investigation for financial mismanagement, with reports surfacing that she's been using taxpayer money for personal expenses. Lavish trips, expensive purchases, and throwing huge parties all on the public's dime. It's not a good look, to say the least. And as more details come to light, the situation just keeps getting worse. Add Brindley into the mix, and you've got a recipe for disaster.
Tiffany Henyard making a late appearance at the Dolton Village Board meeting this evening. That meeting was being held at the Park District building since Village Hall cannot legally accommodate the crowds at a typical meeting.
People are wondering why she would choose to bring in someone like Brindley at a time when she should be focused on clearing her name. Is she banking on his aggressive tactics to help her weather the storm? Or is there something more going on here? Something that we haven't even seen yet? The speculation is rampant, and honestly, it's hard to say what her endgame is. But one thing's for sure, Henyard is not going down without a fight. Let's not forget that Henyard has been facing constant scrutiny even before this latest controversy. Her time in office has been marked by chaos, with board meetings turning into shouting matches, allegations of unethical spending, and now this. It seems like every few months, there's a new headline about something going wrong in Dolton, and Henyard is always right in the middle of it. For someone who came into office with so much promise, she's managed to turn things upside down in record time. And now, with the FBI reportedly getting involved, the situation is about to hit a whole new level. Subpoenas have been flying, and there's talk of a federal investigation into Henyard's finances, her political committee, and even her close associates. You'd think this would be a wake-up call for anyone in her position, but Henyard seems to be doubling down. She's not backing down, and in fact, she's still insisting that she's the victim of a smear campaign orchestrated by her political enemies.
Kooky, and it seems like they're just leaning into it. Like there's no course correction at all. Just leaning into the kooky.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bold move for sure, but is it the right one? That remains to be seen. But what's clear is that Henyard's decision to bring in Brindley has only added more fuel to the fire. People are now more suspicious than ever, and the questions keep piling up. Why would she hire someone with such a controversial history? What does she think Brindley can do for her that no one else can? And perhaps most importantly, what does she have to hide?
Tiffany Henyard in court today over illegal appointments she allegedly made for several positions inside the village, among them.
As this scandal continues to unfold, the residents of Dolton are left wondering what comes next. Henyard's critics are calling for her resignation, saying that she's lost the trust of the community and that it's time for a change. Some are even going so far as to say that if she doesn't step down, she could end up facing some serious legal consequences. It's a tense situation, to say the least, and one that doesn't seem like it's going to calm down anytime soon. So what do you guys think? Is Henyard fighting a losing battle, or is there a chance she'll come out on top? Or should public officials like her be held to a higher standard? Or is this all just part of the game when it comes to politics? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time.